From Boston, Massachusetts, to Adelaide, Australia, and everywhere in between. Talking local and national sports and just about anything discussed in a tavern. Broadcasting from South Lyon, Michigan. Welcome to Easy Speak at Speakeasy 330 with your hosts, Rich and Tom.
Yes.
Welcome back.
It feels good to be back. About 95%, hopefully.
90.
About 95.
Ain't bad.
No one's ever 100, but yes, it's definitely good to be able to sit down and talk sports again. We haven't really been able to do in a couple weeks, except for a little impromptu live session on Monday night, which followed with a hospital visit.
With a hospital visit right
the next
after.
day. Let's just say I woke up and I was given.
You were given an ultimatum.
I was given an ultimatum.
The ultimatum was get your clothes on.
You
get in the car.
We tried. It's not working. You are going to the hospital. And she's like, I plan on having a wedding in December, not planning a funeral. So,
well, it kind of goes hand in hand, though, right?
Well, I mean, it
could be the beginning of an end.
I don't know. Third time's a charm, right? But anyways, so
third time's a charm. I like that.
So I go to a hospital. I won't mention where.
We're not going to talk about that. Let's stay on the sports topic. Let's not go and bash medical.
I'm just saying.
No,
I'm just saying.
Hey, I'll just cut your mic off.
And they gave me some the monoclonal antibodies, and I met the criteria by one day. Said you had, it's 7 to 10 days from initial diagnosis.
Really? So they make you wait it out until?
No, there's a window.
I mean. That's what I'm saying. You had to go at least 7. You had to be between the 7
from the first day you're diagnosed to the 10th day. That's the only time they'll actually administer this, blood fusion.
Is that what it was? It was like a blood transfusion?
Yeah. So what they do is they take, people donate antibodies, and
we know somebody that does.
Yes, Mr. Hesterman. And so they'll take those antibodies, and then, they drew blood from me, and then they separate the white blood cells and whatnot from mine, and then they mix them with the donated antibodies, and then it gets, put back into my body through an IV.
It's not bad. Did you get any other IVs besides that?
Yeah, they had
dehydration or
anything? Yeah, they had the saline, so I took a bag of that, and then they had to do something else. But then they just, switched out the port basically. So in went the bag of the antibodies, and
well, I can tell you right now, you look 10 times better.
Well, that's interesting.
The fuck is going on?
It's the tornado sirens going off here in South Lyon.
There's something we should know about?
I didn't know we were supposed to get weather.
Well, let me check my I don't see.
You got a warning or anything?
I don't see anything.
But anyways, they
fuck it. It is what it is.
So the antibodies go in, and excuse the siren, which is really a bummer.
Though it could have been it could be anywhere in Oakland County, and that's the reason why that siren's going off.
True. So anyhow, they do the antibody infusion, and then usually it's 2 days. You start to feel, the benefits of it. And, it took a couple days. And then starting yesterday, I really started to feel like normal, get my color back. And so God hope I'm on the back end of this mess, and, we can put it in the back burner and move forward.
Yeah, this is weird. So I got the weather up right now, and it says 8 o'clock. It's going to be a 30% chance of rain. And then it's 60 at 9, and it's 90% at 10. But it doesn't say anything. And it is supposed to rain all freaking night long.
Great.
Oh, well. But hey, speaking of raining, talk about rain and losses. We're going to talk about reigning losses for our Pontiac Pussycats.
It never fails to intrigue me how they find ways to lose every single week. And today,
you know what? I didn't watch the game per se. I didn't watch it. I listened to it. Today I decided to, make a nice afternoon out of it. Went to Sierra Trading Post, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. Then we went downtown, went to Hamtramck, went to Polish Village Cafe, got some good food, and then kind of just drove around through downtown, got out of the car, did a little bit of walking up and down through downtown. It was good, but listen to that game. Oh my! I mean, I FaceTimed on the way home. It was ridiculous.
Well, I mean, to start the first half off with, their first drive, they go for it on 4th down. It was 4th and goal. They were at about the 2 and absolutely get stuffed.
Why do we do that? I mean, here's the thing. So if you sit and look at it, and now this is me just listening to the game, not watching the game, me listening to the game. If you would have taken those opportunities that you went on 4th and goal and you added those up, you put yourself in a much better position.
They could have gone for a touchdown, needed a 2-point conversion to tie.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they fail on 4th and goal. Then they get a possession where they're inside the Bear 10, and Frank Ragnow just decides to snap the ball, and as Goff's going to call out protection, he snaps the ball, deflects off Goff, and ends up in a Bear's hands. Only the Lions can that happen to. And then they get a fumble. They get a fumble. So out of 3 possessions within the Bears 10 in the first half, 2 turnovers, 1 turnover on down, no points. I mean, it doesn't get any worse for a team than that.
Now, during the course of the whole week, we've had multiple people say, they're already calling for the dude's job. I mean, the guy, he's 4 games in this season. Now, granted, this is not the first time he's been a head coach. He's been a head coach before.
Interim in Miami.
He was interim. But okay, you look today, Robert Saleh got his first win, and mind you, that was kind of one of those plays. He had to wait on Bullock's leg to fail.
His field goal.
But the thing is like what are we doing? It's like I've come to the conclusion that in my lifetime, in probably my child's lifetime, we'll never see a Super Bowl ever.
I agree. I agree with you. He was bad, and I've tried to give Dan Campbell the benefit of the doubt, and I get it. It's a young team that has 0 talent. Their best player on the football field is their punter. So with that being said, you're down by 10 with 5 minutes to go. You need a field goal at minimum.
Yeah,
he goes for another one on 4th down.
I could not even understand. You hurry up, but you had time.
Well,
so you hurry up and you get to the line, and
you telegraph the pass.
Exactly.
And Cephas is sitting in the middle of the field, wide open, just wide open. But again, shouldn't have even come to that. It should have been kicked. They should have kicked him because they had 2 timeouts and they were under 5 minutes, and they've been making some nice plays on defense. Justin Fields was brought down to reality in the second half. But then
why do we always the Lions? The Lions are always the team that makes a mediocre quarterback. And Justin Fields, he's a rookie. Can he get better? Yes,
sure.
But right now he's mediocre.
Right.
After last week's performance.
With a mediocre coach.
They look like they're Super Bowl contenders.
In the first half they did.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
David Montgomery was just absolutely mollywhopping that defensive line. And then he gets hurt, unfortunately for Chicago. But then, you look at Campbell's decision to throw a challenge flag, in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, Robinson made the catch. It was clear. And every replay that they showed after that showed he got 2 feet in bounds. He throws a flag. My question is, who's telling him to throw the flag at that point?
But let me tell you, that challenge flag, him throwing the challenge flag don't mean shit. You want to know why? That challenge flag did not determine the outcome of that game.
No.
At all.
It was piss poor play calling. they were very predictable. They did not run. They abandoned the run completely. I think,
when you get down like that,
Jamal
you
Williams
have to.
Jamal Williams looked really good, and DeAndre Swift looked good at times, and they just completely abandoned it. Hawkinson, where's he been?
Well, since he's the primary target, he's probably getting double and triple teamed, and therefore they're like, well, we can cover the outside guys. We just need to contain Hawkinson.
It seems like he throws to number 11.
Isn't it? You know, it's sad that we don't even know Raymond.
It's Raymond. Yeah. He's looked really well. I mean, he's like a good slot receiver. But where's Cephas? Where is Hodges that they brought him from Cleveland? Why are these guys not in the game plan? I don't see Goff going to these guys. Cephas, I think he had 2 or 3 targets all game. Hodge had 1 target and he dropped the ball. So it's like they're not distributing the ball. And I think Goff's getting in a situation where he's finding somebody that he can rely on and he's forcing it. And then you top that with he's not getting any protection whatsoever.
Well, then you look at it from this standpoint, the game that's currently going on right now, former quarterback Lions, he's really not looking good. He's got 2 picks.
Yeah.
I think the score is 34, 35 to 13.
34-13 with they're going to go into the 4th
2 picks.
quarter.
And we've been watching the game and he has been targeting Cooper Kupp all game,
leaving him out to try.
Just like, I mean, I'm telling you right now, we talked about this. He's going to end that dude's career kind of like he gave Calvin pretty much a lot of those injuries.
Yeah, he
laying him out like that.
He'd put it up. He'd put it up for him to go get it, and he'd pay the price. There was a particular play that got us talking about it. Was, I mean, he threw it into triple coverage essentially. It was a beautiful throw, and he made the catch.
Oh, I know.
But he had to go up and get it, and he got hit from the right, and then the guy coming over the middle took him out. I mean, you're leaving your receivers, on islands out there by themselves, and then he's made some bad throws. Arizona's got it. They got a sneaky defense, so they're rushing him. He's very uncomfortable in the pocket.
Yeah, it's definitely not a cupcake game.
Their running game is non-existent. So
yeah,
and this is really
Sony Michel gives up a fumble.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like you got to protect that ball.
Sure, I mean everybody wants to crown him the king, but it's like this is the first real big test, and he's looking like the Matt Stafford we're used to seeing around here, but.
Granted, he is a good quarterback.
Yeah, sure.
He's a great quarterback. He's
in a good system that
he was penalized for years being here.
He's got talent around him, which, outside of, Megatron, who did he really have? And he never, when he had a nice receiver core, he didn't have a line.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you take the snap and you're immediately, you just got to get rid of the ball. It's tough.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm thinking right now, I look at the schedule and I don't see a win on that schedule till week 14. And that's a big question mark against Atlanta in Atlanta.
Yeah. I don't. I mean, there's a good chance, a very strong chance that they could go 0-17.
They're going to be the first team to go 0-16 and the first team to go 0-17.
Exactly.
So I just don't know. I mean, today it was lack of talent and really bad coaching. You can't have both and succeed. You got to have a situation where, if the team's dragging ass, your coach has got to step up and you got to motivate. And I like the fact that
I don't think it's a lack of Dan Campbell motivating his players. I think
inexperience.
I think what it's going to end up being is what's going to be his downfall or the kryptonite for him. Or the end that's going to be him is just the ridiculous play.
Right.
I mean, in NFL, you have to, if you have an opportunity to get points, you go after and you get points.
Especially when you're struggling to get points. To quote, what's his name? Struggling. Oh, what the hell's in his name? The quarterback of the Jets, the Hall of Famer.
Oh, Joe Namath.
Joe Namath. Yeah. Struggling. And when you're a struggling franchise, I want to kiss you.
Susie Colbert. I love it.
So anyways, if you're struggling to put points on the board, you got to get points when you can. I mean, there was a nice drive, especially the first drive going into the 5, and you come up empty. It's debilitating to an offense.
But let's look at it in this aspect. I'm trying to play devil's advocate here. I'm trying to give the guy a little bit of credit, but his credit is running out with me. But do you think maybe he's not comfortable with his kicker? Is the reason why?
Well, but still, that would be
it was a chip shot.
It was even closer than an extra point.
Hey, there was a chip shot in that Jets game that went wide left.
Mm-hmm. There is definitely a question mark of the kicker, but he proved he kicked a big field goal last week under pressure, and
we had a nice comment after next segment here.
Amen, brother. JP, watching the game, I could hear that.
Let's wait till the next segment. Let's get over the lines first.
Then
we'll start talking.
We'll go into that.
Man, you're just jumping around. A nice comment here going on. But since you brought it up, I guess we're just gonna go right to it.
Yeah.
I guess. Michigan.
Woo.
Michigan.
And
hey, you know what though? I will tell you right now, it looked eerie right off the rip. That's for sure, because they weren't doing shit. They weren't doing nothing in the first quarter, in the first half.
Well, first off, I want to say, I put a post on our Facebook page about, is this Harbaugh's best win so far? And the reason why I posted that question was it was their first win on the road as an underdog. In going into a place that, the Giant and I...
They haven't won since, 2001?
Yeah. The Giant and I are, familiar with going up to Madison and getting destroyed. So you take a game where Wisconsin 1-2, okay? They've had a pretty rough schedule coming in. They weren't really a 1-2 team, if you ask me. So you take that, you take Michigan being the underdog, you take Harbaugh's inability to win a big game on the road, and they turned it around and they came out with a victory. I think that alone, in my opinion, outside of the 1 year that he beat Michigan State, I think that's the most meaningful win for them. But early on, you're right. The play calling on offense, it seemed like they ran one run play over and over and over again.
Yeah, it was like up the gut.
It was a counter. It was a counter. It would go either left or right. And the run game was very, very suspect. And I just, outside of the flea flicker pass that McNamara had in the first quarter to Cornelius Johnson, he looked like shit.
Yeah.
His passes are underthrown. He misses the receivers. He looked very uncomfortable out there. And to me, I think the team reacts better when McCarthy is in there. You put McCarthy in on like a 4th and goal on the 1, and he takes the ball up the middle. That's a true freshman, and that's a lot of cojones for a kid that young coming into that situation. They needed that touchdown.
Oh yeah,
and he got it. So to me, I felt like that might have been like the beginning. I thought we were going to see McCarthy a little bit more, and he came out and started the second half. But McCarthy's throwing, to me, I mean, it's like Joe Milton in a sense, where he's missing guys bad. They'll be wide open. I don't know how many passes I've seen.
You saying cutting? You said McNamara. You said, who are you talking
McNamara.
about? Okay,
McNamara.
you said McCarthy.
Oh, I'm sorry, McNamara. I don't know how many passes I've seen him throwing behind the receivers. It was just, and thankfully for that defense, that front defense of Hutchinson. And
they're dominant.
David Ajabo, the linebacker, he was all over the field yesterday. 2.5 sacks. Dax Hill had a game. I mean, they brought, with the question of the drive toward the end of the first half, where Wisconsin had 2 or 3 big passes, and Graham Mertz looked like the Graham Mertz that played us 2 years ago or last year, which could have set the tone for the second half, and Michigan came out and put it behind them. And I is that a testament to their coaching? Is this a new era? Harbaugh is I mean, everyone knows I'm not a fan.
Yeah, but I honestly, like, to go back to what your question was about, was this his biggest, should we consider this his biggest win? I'm gonna say respectfully no, because the Wisconsin team I want to beat is the team that is kicking everybody's asses.
Well, sure.
And speaking of ass kicking, let's bring this guy in here right now. We got
Hey.
dude, what a fuck
Sure, giant.
Hey, turn your phone sideways.
Dress professionally on the show.
Hey, you got to turn your phone sideways. I don't want to look at. I want a full screen of you.
Yeah.
Oh, there we
There
go.
we go.
Hey,
There
from
we
the
go.
Just
neck
get
up, though, it almost looks good from the shoulders up. You know.
Did you shave your chest today or what?
Yeah, working on it. Cleaning up around the house a little bit. What's going on?
So, what'd you think of that game?
I thought awesome, man. It was encouraging at moments to see the passing game pick up a little bit. Roman Wilson had a big breakout game yesterday.
He was the when they needed a big play.
Yeah.
It seemed like that's who he would key in on.
Do you think that's one of Harbaugh's? You think that's Harbaugh's best win,
Yeah.
or
Per se.
is it? You think that? But that's not the biggest win that he could get. You know,
No.
obviously,
No, I mean thus far.
you know,
I mean, all the intangibles were there to say they're going to blow this game.
Yeah.
Going on the road to a house of horrors you haven't won in 20 years. You're the underdog. Wisconsin's coming off of dreadful fourth quarter against Notre
Yeah.
Dame. That was a recipe for a disaster for Michigan. And they went in there and they closed the book. And
Yeah.
and you know, JP, I experienced the jump around. That's amazing in Wisconsin.
That
I
is.
mean, everything, that's a bucket for anybody.
Did you guys see how
But
fired
when
up
I
the
saw
team
it was a bucket for the team too, because the team was going.
When I
nuts,
saw
too.
Michigan, the whole team jumping around, I at that point, this game's over because
Yeah.
they were so fired. I haven't seen that team that fired up in a long time. It was definitely a good thing to see.
I mean, like I said, though, per se, it's probably his best win, but I don't think it was the best Wisconsin team that we've seen, obviously.
No.
They're not even in the top 30, I believe, in rushing offense, and that's kind of unlike a Wisconsin team. So,
I mean, 2 years ago when we were there, that Taylor just
oh, yeah.
mowed us down, and they don't have that type of back. They have that type of defense still, but and then when Mertz went down with that hit Hill put
Yeah.
on him. Oh man,
Oh, yeah.
that was beautiful.
Did
Clean
you see the one where Corum met that cornerback in the hole and put him out of the game?
Oh, so
He's a tough little runner, man.
we're aggressive. That team's aggressive.
Yeah.
He's he's got a low center of gravity, so he can
He's
get
a
down
beast.
there and he's not going to get moved around too easy.
But I do like the fact that they were able to put points on the board, and either him or Haskins were really effective.
Yeah.
The
we
line,
rushed
the
for
line,
over 100 yards. They haven't given up. We rushed for over 100 as a team, Wisconsin.
as a team.
But
As
they've
a
been
team, yeah, it's like
they haven't-
112.
Notre Dame, I think, only rushed for 30-something yards against them. So,
Well, that's Notre Dame. They're proving to be. They might be a little bit overrated.
yeah. But they also got a good running back.
They sure looked really overrated yesterday against Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Did they look overrated or Cincinnati underrated?
You know what? I think Luke Fickle's got that team playing real good.
Those guys believe in him.
Yeah,
and,
they do.
And they've got a quarterback who, in my opinion, I think Ritter is, if not one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the country. He can run, he can throw. He's got a great football IQ. He's experienced. I think he's a 5th-year senior.
Mhm.
He would look really good here in Detroit. I'll tell you that much.
And Cincinnati might have a chance to slip in there, man.
If they win the table, they deserve a shot in the playoff.
for sure.
Yeah, with who
Oh,
they
absolutely.
play.
I agree.
No question about it.
They get a seat at the table, maybe get a plate, maybe a fork or a spoon or something. But yeah, they deserve to be there.
You know who would be a good hire for USC? Old Luke Fickle.
I tell you right now,
He's not going anywhere.
I don't think he's going to go anywhere. I think he likes.
He just signed a long term. I think they just gave him a 7-year extension.
Don't you want a Power 5 job? You know what I mean? Or are you going to try to merge them into a Power 5 conference?
It could be a merger. I mean, it's still
Cincinnati's going to the Big 12.
Yeah.
Or
dude,
here's
Texas is doing something real. Or was it Texas and Oklahoma going to the SEC?
Yeah,
they're going to get absolutely.
The Big 12 is the fan
Texas,
base is killing them on that one.
Texas is going to be like the joke, the doormat of the SEC.
Here's a name you could look at. What about Row the Boat there in Minnesota? You think he might jump ship and go out to USC if they came calling?
I think he's already peaked his. You know what I mean? I don't think they're going to be any better than they are. I think that's pretty much the end of the road. And I think
him going to Minnesota was, I think, career-wise, wasn't the smartest.
I think it was like a lateral move for him. I think at that period of time, I mean, because Western Michigan was a damn good team, and they just kind of lateral over.
They went to they were in one of the final games. So but I don't know. That's going to be interesting to see. Of course, all the Urban Meyer talk, and is he going to jump ship after 1 year? You know what? It's Urban Meyer. He's quit on Florida. He's quit on other teams.
All right, so
it wouldn't shock me.
So now that you brought up Urban Meyer, circulating, what the fuck was he down there getting his pecker grinded on by somebody?
There was a picture that came up of some girl, very young female, had her head on his shoulder. He was sitting at a bar somewhere.
Was that recently, or was that? Because it looked like he had an Ohio State sweater on.
From what I understand, it was recently, within the last couple days.
Hey, maybe the guy goes grocery shopping with an upside down pineapple in his cart. Never know. Him and his wife might be into that shit.
All right.
Oh, hey, you know what?
Or has a big star on the front of their house.
You know what? I walked down the street and I saw a big star in somebody's house, and I was like, "Are those fucking people swingers?
Swing bada bada bada, swing bada."
Hey, JP, JP, that's what you need to do. You need to put
knock on the door.
Hey, you need to get one of those cameras, and just walk around the grocery store with an upside down pineapple and nothing else in your cart. Just put like 4 or 5 pineapples in that front rack, all upside down, and tell me what transpires.
Get the reactions. Oh, dude, with a GoPro.
Walk through downtown Wyandotte with
just downriver
with a shirt with a pineapple upside down.
Just downriver.
Yeah, there you go. Be a hit. Bring it down to the new crib there, and
the taco hop yesterday, as they say, was lit. It was really fun.
This guy's over here coughing like crazy.
He's wheezing and shit.
Yeah, he's wheezing the juice.
No.
Yeah,
buffing the weasel. No.
But hey, good to talk to you guys. I got to run though.
All right, man.
You got to work?
No, it's Sunday dinner. You're gonna go find somewhere new to eat today.
Oh, fantastic!
Well, have you been to Portofino's yet?
I haven't. I have not. I've heard mixed reviews that Gregory's or whatever that you seen me in the other day. That was really, really good.
Oh, I like that place. Have you been to Oak Street Cafe?
No. Another one I'll have to try. There's so many out here.
I remember. I got a lot of downriver peeps. I can give you some insight.
Heck yeah.
So,
all right,
man. All right, peace out.
Have a good week.
Later. Yeah. Hey, before he said bye, I'm like, see you, dude. Gone. He gone. He gone. Bye. And he didn't have to hang up. I hung up on him. That's what I got. So Michigan State played against Western Kentucky. I caught glimpses of that game, and I'm not a Michigan State fan because I'm just not. So I'm not going to dedicate my time to sit down and watch them. But the couple times I peeked in or that they were doing well.
Well, Western Kentucky, their schedule or their record really doesn't show what they really are. They can score. They've got to, they were competitive. I do like the fact that, what's his name there? Peyton Thorne. I mean, to me, there was a debate a couple weeks ago, and on 97.1, I heard, who would you rather have, Peyton Thorne or McNamara? And of course, the Michigan homies were all like, "Oh, I'd rather have McNamara." I think Peyton Thorne's a better quarterback right now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean,
And his stats
You go
definitely
stats.
show that.
Yeah, the stats. The stats don't lie.
No.
He was a huge upgrade over Rocky and Bullwinkle from last year.
Rocky and Michigan proved what Rocky's worth was when he played Northern Iowa, 63 to whatever the hell they scored, like 10,
whatever.
But Peyton, it's shaping up to be a showdown here on Devil's Night at the end of the month. Michigan State.
That is going to be a crazy weekend.
State got back to their game yesterday. It looks like Kenny Walker rushed for 126 3 times, a touchdown machine. But I'm like you said a little bit ago, you that's not the Wisconsin team you want to see Michigan win. This is the Michigan State team that I think we all want to see. We want to see an undefeated
I definitely want to see.
clash.
I want to see 2 undefeateds. I want to see 2 teams that are heavy in the run.
Right.
So really, the game plan is going to be: I'm going to keep running until you can stop me, and then. But here's what I mean: I don't have much faith in McNamara if he's QBing. I don't have against back and forth. I'd rather see McCarthy out there.
Well, it's going to be a situation where you're going to need your defense to make some big plays, get some turnovers.
Oh my God, this fucking comment. let me get it up on the screen. My man over here, Mr. Corey, said I see somebody hasn't got their taste back from Rona wearing that Browns jersey.
Go Browns.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Let them have it.
That's
Let him have it, man.
That's my dad. That's a shot from my dad.
Oh man,
my good old pops.
That's Mr. Corey checking in from Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
Coming all the way from Grand Rapids,
from the Beer City, USA,
formerly of the Upper Peninsula,
the verified real Vanilla King.
Yes.
What is up with the vanilla face?
And he said one day he's going to come out here and he's going to hang out.
Well, he was on Twitter.
It.
He was on Twitter today asking if anyone was going to be at the Michigan State game. I was going to suggest let's do a Twitter friend or Twitter hangout here at the Speakeasy. Let's put a invitation out right now. Anybody that follows us on Twitter, on Facebook, whatever, Michigan State fan, it doesn't matter. College football fan, it doesn't matter. Let's do it. Let's have a meetup.
Is that a noon start?
I have a feeling.
No, hold on. Are they playing in East Lansing?
It's in Ann Arbor.
Oh, it's in Ann Arbor.
It's in Ann Arbor. So I feel like if both teams are undefeated going in, Michigan's obviously in the top 10, State's not far behind them. That could be a college game day weekend. So let's do a meetup. Let's have a meetup here. We'll put some food on the Blackstone.
Is that going to require me to cut my grass, clean my yard up a little bit?
You've got 3 weeks. I can help you with that.
Hold on here. We've been trying to fix that fucking fence for a while.
Since before, I don't know, beginning of spring.
Yeah, Ryan, I thought it was in East Lansing too this year because last year it was in Michigan.
Well, no, because the Ohio State game here.
I don't mean shit.
They were on the same schedule. I thought it was here.
Look it up right now. East Lansing.
Yeah, you're right. I was wrong.
It's in East Lansing.
Either way, we can have a meetup here.
Yeah. I bet you he wants to go to the game so he can hang out with some other people cooler than us.
Oh, that's true.
Cool.
We're just a couple of bodies.
But you know what though? He's a State fan though. That's the thing.
Is he?
Yeah, that's why he wants to go to East Lansing. Nope. Doesn't matter what he says. He'll be on there going rah 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 to the Michigan, but deep down inside, he's a green and white guy.
He's swinging both ways.
He probably is. Anyway, so moving on from there, I do want to touch a little bit on the Tigers. Even though we fell short of a 500 season, I'm super proud of the way this team was because I'll tell you right now, they won about 50 more games. 50 more games than I thought they were going to win, to be honest with you.
I recall probably 2 or 3 weeks into the season, I said to you, they're going to give the 05, was it the 05 or 04 team a run for their money? That the record of losses?
04, I
think it was
believe.
the 04
Yeah.
team. So they're going to give them a run for their money. They looked god awful to start the season.
Now, would you think that's player development, or you think it's AJ Hinch putting the guys in the right spot?
I think that's AJ Hinch not knowing exactly what he had, and just kind of getting a feel for where he play, who needs to play, young pitch staff. But the stats show there was only 2 months where they had a losing record. It was April and August. So to me, I think the question I pose to you is this they're going to finish, depending on what they do today. The game just started today. But if they lose today, they're going to be 10 games under 500.
Yeah. And you know what? And I can handle that.
And can you gauge that as somewhat of a success? I think yes, because he had such little talent to work with. And then, you look at the situation like with Dan Campbell, such little to work with, but he's not helping his cause. AJ Hinch he's pulled the right strings. He's pushed the right buttons. And at times, and for a little while, they were in a battle for second place. And how good would that have looked for them to finish second in the Central? I mean, that would have been a huge, huge accomplishment in his first year.
No, I agree. I mean, I was probably one of the biggest doubters going into this year. Because, obviously AJ Hinch came into the season with some baggage.
Well,
that is for sure. He had some baggage.
But he owned it. He owned it 100%. And he was suspended for an entire year. And
he owned it, but still, it was a lot of, obviously he didn't get the same treatment that a lot of the players did at a lot of other stadiums of, banging on the garbage can and everything like that. Like they got, George Springer, he couldn't handle it. So he went up to Toronto. So they couldn't be banging on the garbage cans. But I think next year is very promising. I think we are just maybe a couple pieces away. I think they need to really shore up that left side of the infield. Mm-hmm. They need to get Candelario can play third. Mm-hmm. Shortstop. I got a feeling they're going to go real hot and heavy with Carlos Correa. From
everything I've been reading this week, from John Heyman, MLB, all the the quote unquote talking heads, the experts, they're all in agreement that it's no secret the Tigers are going at. They have one guy that they are keying in on, and it's Carlos Correa.
But here's the thing that goes with that though is would I like to have him? But at what cost? We just as well as I do.
We're living now the back half of a mega contract, and we're seeing the sort of ill-fated aspects of overpaying for a player.
But at the time that they signed Cabrera, they had to pay. They had to, or they were going to lose him.
Well, and here's the situation, like with the Rams we were talking earlier, the Rams put all their eggs in Stafford's basket to win now. And if they don't win in the next couple of years, it was all for naught. Similar situation with the Tigers. They were ready to win now. It was a contract year. They had to do what they had to do. I get it.
Yeah.
But they didn't win. And it didn't bring them to the promised land. Now we're seeing, the costs of it. There's been hesitation to spend money because they've got his massive contract on the books.
Yeah, and
Prince Fielder,
they're still paying a bunch of guys to not be here.
They've played it smart in a sense where they've gotten rid of a lot of bad contracts, and now Miggy's down to 2 more years after this, and
very manageable.
So they're
from a financial standpoint, it's very manageable for them to go out and sign that piece. But what they do have coming up through the pipeline is very promising.
Kleiner down in in Toledo, who he's kind of the forgotten about of the three that got promoted from Erie. He's Torkelson Green,
and the Dingler.
Dingler's not. I think Dingler's in Toledo. I didn't see him on the stat line.
He did. They all three of them went up at the same time.
Yeah,
unless he went back.
down.
down.
I think he's back down.
Okay.
I don't think he's there with them right now. But Riley Green, I mean, he's got OPS over 900 since he's been up with Toledo. He will be. To me, I see Riley Green. Day one. If not day one, then May 1.
Yeah.
Coming.
Yeah. You know what?
Coming,
I hate all of that. All that stuff.
It's a business.
It's like, hey, if I don't play this guy till May 1st, I retain more. I retain another service year, so nobody can take them from me.
Yep.
I honestly hope that you see Torkelson at first base. Jonathan Scope is going to be your second base guy.
Mm-hmm.
Your third base is going to be Candelario. Your shortstop hopefully is going to be Carlos Correa or somebody.
You have Correa, you have Story.
Yeah,
you have Marcus Simeon, who hit 44 home runs this year.
Yeah, no. Nobody
talks about him because he played in
under the radar.
Toronto.
Yep.
Nobody talks about him.
Yep.
Because who's in Toronto?
You got Vlad
Guerrero,
Bo Bichette. Yeah, you got those guys.
Fielding wise,
Springer's up there too.
Yeah, fielding wise, Springer is. ESPN did like a tier of free agents, and surprisingly, they had Marcus Simeon in their tier 1 level of free agents. Which, offensively, yeah, defensively, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know if he's an upgrade defensively over what they have now, but offensively. But that would be a nice stick to put in front of Miggy or after Miggy in front of Candelario. That would be good. So you have about 4 or 5 potential candidates. I'm worried about Trevor Story.
Yeah,
career 206 outside of Colorado.
Exactly.
That scares me.
And he was because of it's a very home run friendly ballpark there in Denver.
But Nolan Arenado got traded to St. Louis this year, and he proved that there is life outside of Coors Field. He played really well for the Cardinals, but
he was a different player.
Yeah,
true.
He's more an all around. But I don't know. I think Story would be my last option. But there's definitely some guys there. Javi Baez. Potential, and these guys are all young. I mean, Correa is 27, Baez is 28. You got guys that you can wrap up for the next 5 to 7 years and still be.
Dude, there's no way I'd want to see them be thrown out of 5 or 7 year contract on that.
Correa's gonna want a 7-year.
I do. There's no way.
It's just a matter of is it a good fit here? Yes, because of his relationship with Hinch. Is it worth it? I don't know. It's hard to say. Will he bolster up that lineup? Not only the lineup, he's automatically your captain. He's your leader. He's shown that he's a hell of a leader on the Houston team. So you have some. He immediately makes you.
You got another voice in the clubhouse.
Yes, he immediately makes you significant again. I think the foundation is laid, just like the 2006 team. They had a foundation built around their pitching.
Yeah.
And they sprinkled in, Pudge in 05, Maglio in 06, some veteran leadership, Kenny Rogers to bolster up the back end of that rotation. Those little pieces that they put together that helped gel.
You're talking about Kenny Rogers.
Oh yeah.
Kenny Rogers.
Yep. That bolstered up that young team. And that's what we have here. You have young talent that is ready to hit the scene.
Yeah, but in 06, we really didn't have a young team.
Their pitching staff was very young.
That's all that was young. Everybody else was seasoned veterans.
Well, you had Simo, you had Marcus Timms.
Besides Curtis Granderson and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, but you had the guys on the, like Pudge and Maglio. Now you look at this year. Grossman, he goes to 2020 club, 20 home runs, 20 stolen bases. He had a career year. You want that guy back on your team. You want him back on your team.
But where are you going to put him at? If you bring Riley Green up, where are you going to put a guy like that at?
He's a platoon guy, number 1. You can't put all your eggs in Riley Green. You got to have a backup.
No, I believe me. I get you with that. You
can't overload him. And if you have a guy that's comes ready to play every single game, that if Green needs a day off, there's Grossman. Or if Green's not, hitting the ball well, the Grossman will go in there. There's your veteran clubhouse leadership, the kind of guys that you want on the team.
What do you think is going to happen with Eric Haas?
They're going to extend him.
You think so?
I think so. I think he's done enough. He commands that pitching staff real well. With Wilford Brimley going to miss all of next year, Jake Rogers.
I had to think about it for a second. Who you were talking about, Wilford Brimley? Yeah.
With him missing all of next year, that that kind of makes it a no-brainer. You have Grayson Griner, who I think he's going to be the odd man out because I like what Grew, or I think his name.
Yeah.
He came up 6 home runs. Plus, I like his walk-up music. It's my type. But anyways,
Barry Manilow?
Wage War.
Oh.
Nobody cares. So, and then is Dingler, ready to, make that leap right now? I don't think so. So I think it makes sense. What's Haas set up with 25 home runs this year? I mean, he was called up mid-May. You wonder what would have been the case if he had been, up with the team. But no one knew he was gonna. I think when they brought him up, it was pretty much just like to fill a role for a couple weeks, and then he was tearing the lights off the ball and kind of forced their hand to keep him up with the team. So yeah, I think that's a guy who you definitely you need on the team with his bat. He's clutch at times. He might not have the greatest catching stats, but I like the fact that he's kind of the captain when it comes to controlling that pitching staff, handling that pitching staff.
And that's what you need. I mean, and there's no disrespect to Jake Rogers. I mean, I don't think he was a strong enough guy at the plate.
Mm-hmm.
Behind the plate.
He's got more skills
great
defensively.
But you need a guy that can still play behind the plate, but he's got to produce.
Sure.
He's got to produce. And Haas had 22 home runs.
22?
Yeah. He only batted .231, but
that's a Grossman.
I think he had 60. Yeah, it's 60 RBIs.
It's a Grossman. I think he ended up
747 OBS.
Yeah, batting about 240 or something. But
yeah,
I mean, these guys another year of experience. In an AJ Hinch offense, ran team. I think it makes sense. You're not going to pay. It's not going to cost you a lot to re-sign either one of those guys, Haas or Grossman. I mean, it might cost you $8 million a year, $10 million a year at the most, but definitely some that in the clubhouse, which is a lot to me. That's huge when you're talking about 162 game season. You got to have guys in there that's
a grind.
The manager can only do so much, so you need to have players in there that are going to hold each other accountable, and those are the guys that are going to do it.
Well, anyway, so let's get on with our next segment here. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it. Whoa.
What'd you say?
What?
Oh, yeah. What? So I got a what this week, and you got a what this week. So let's see.
So he decides to take part in this search party. Turns out this search party was for him.
So what? So first of all, I thought and I'm not too versed with this, but I thought that it was really looked down upon in the Middle East, Turkey and Iran, Iraq, in the Muslim areas.
To drink alcohol.
Drinking.
Yep.
I thought that was like a...
Well, they have
kind of like a no-no.
They have a lot of other substances, we'll say.
I think it was hookah.
We have these tea leaves, I forget what they're called. And it's funny because...
Is that the one they chew on?
Yes. So I used to work with a guy, God rest his soul, Ahmed. Just passed away recently. he would always have a bag of these like tea leaves. I used to tease him. I'm like, is that the grass clippings of Yemen? Because he's from Yemen, and it always looked like grass clippings. He's like, no, he'd have it just shoved in his mouth and his teeth. I forget. Cut. I think it's called cut, like KUT. But they'll suck on that stuff and they'll like lace it with, other things, and they'll just sit there and chew on these tea leaves and get.
Really?
Oh yeah, and it's actually starting to kind of become quite popular in this country.
Well,
they're exporting it.
I'm going to tell you right now, when I get to work tomorrow, I got an individual I'm going to ask about this.
It's cut.
Said stuff.
Yep. So that could be a possibility what he was doing. But yes, and I think he walked around with the group for several hours before he realized that. So my question is this: what kind of fucking search party? They're looking for a guy.
They don't have pictures of the guy?
You don't see who you're looking for?
Yeah,
and he's
hey, just go out look for this guy.
Hey, we're looking for this guy right here. And wait a minute, that present.
Hey, that's you.
Present. I'm here.
Yeah, exactly. Like what the fuck? Like, I mean, come on. I mean, let's be real here.
Oh, that sounds like something like JP would do. I could see JP like, falling out in the front yard and then
I could see him disappearing,
getting up and ending up over on the other side of by the river.
Funny you say that. There has been times in my old neighborhood, we had a neighbor who big Michigan fan. He went missing after a football game where everybody was extremely intoxicated, and his wife was on a type of, has anybody seen him?
Maybe that's why said individual never gets to go out anymore.
And then we found him.
Where was he?
He was on his back deck, passed out.
What was the weather like that day?
It was cold.
Yeah,
it was cold. So
wow.
So my what was.
Troll. And if you watch that Netflix documentary, they talked to an attorney, and he said that most situations where there is a conservator, the person that requires that isn't working. Well,
okay.
Britney Spears, did 2 albums, I believe.
No,
she did a huge tour.
She did. Well, she was also in Vegas. Yeah.
She earned upwards of like 100 and something, 30 million or something like that under this conservatorship. Yet she had an allowance. It felt like my last marriage here. She was only given like $4,000 a month. Her father was only giving her $4,000 a month to spend on. Meanwhile, her estate was worth upwards of 80 million. So her complaint was he was like literally drugging her, like putting her on lithium and basically keeping her quiet, we'll say. And you'll have to watch it. It's wild.
You said it's on Netflix?
It's on Netflix. Hulu has one and CNN did another one. But the one we watched was on Netflix. It's pretty detailed. You feel really bad for it because it kind of goes back to the time where she kind of lost her mind. She shaved her head
took the umbrella to a car.
Yep, you'll kind of get a reason as to why one would act that way. The paparazzi and droves like chasing her through the streets, and what a mess! What an absolute mess! But the basic premise is if you need a conservator, you don't have the ability to earn money. You don't have the ability to handle your own
finances.
Exactly. Well, she's proven that she's been very successful while under this long arm of her father's law, we'll say. So
what a fucking dick, by the way.
Unbelievable. And he always said, it's always in the best interest. No, he was making money hand over fist. His attorney was making money hand over fist, and her attorney, who was supposed to be fighting for her, was making money. She fired that. Yeah. Oh, he ended up quitting.
Oh, okay.
The judge wouldn't let it happen.
Yeah.
He made $3 million right out the rip on this case. $3 million.
That's fucking crazy.
And another thing the guy says, these conservators you're not supposed to profit off of this. These people have made so much money off of her just from basically having control over her expenses and telling her when she's going to work.
Did you see that she like got engaged recently?
Yeah. Well, one of the big reasons why she wanted out of this conservatorship was she wants to negotiate a prenup. And her father wouldn't allow her to do that. So, she kind of got railroaded with her first husband and with that whole situation.
Was that K-Fed?
That was K-Fed, yeah. So,
K-Fed.
So her doing this, I think, almost proves that her dad right in the sense that, she's kind of a loose cannon. If she have the ability to go and post naked pictures, of course she does. Anybody does. That's her right. Does it show that she's kind of unstable? Yeah, it does. So when you're in a situation where right now it's suspended until I think it's November 11th.
Yeah.
The judge could go in there and say, you've shown, no signs that you're capable of handling yourself.
You think all this shit's gonna backfire on her?
Ultimately, I don't. I think they're going to go back to the 11 years, or I think it's 13 years. And the evidence that, she has of, the drug abuse and the fact that, yes, she has been profitable. She's always worked. She could have said, go to hell, and she chose not to. I think all that compounded, the judge is going to say, you probably deserve, a say in your own life. And ultimately, the judge will more than likely grant her that. But her doing this doesn't, I have posted any pictures until I knew definitively, like, okay, I'm free. Because technically she's not yet.
Yeah. And I wasn't going to post pictures. I was going to post the exact picture, whatever, but
she's working out.
She's looking good.
She's working out. We'll just say that.
She's looking good.
But
I can't believe that she's only like 3 years younger than me.
Well, she made it big, and
I know
when she was 15.
Oh, I know.
When that album hit,
I know
that was.
I was in high school when that came out.
Remember, I was working at Best Buy. I come walking by the end cap of the CDs, and I'm like,
I did it again.
And I'm like, who is?
Yeah.
I think every day I went over there, flipped it over. I'm like, yeah, damn. Whew. All right, cool. Well, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But huge battle next week in the Big Ten. We didn't get into any of the headlines, but Penn State, Iowa from Iowa next Saturday. That's going to be the catalyst for how this Big Ten season is going to go.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely a good matchup there.
You got Michigan, Northwestern, and State has to play Rutgers that just got mollywopped by the Buckeyes. So we'll see. Hopefully we'll be back this week.
Maybe midweek.
I want to start doing pick'ems. We'll pick 5 games for the NFL, maybe a couple of the college, and then the next.
Sounds like more work for me.
No, it's not. I'll do it.
Sounds like more work for me.
Nope, I'll do it. I'll put a post up and get people's take.
Sounds like more for me.
Nope, I got it.
All right. Okay, good. Well, hey, on that note, everything like that, it was great having you back on again.
Good to be back.
Definitely was good to have you back on. And sitting across from each other.
Yes.
I trust that you're okay.
I'm fine.
Okay. All right. Well, on that note, we're out. And
we'll see you guys.
Like
Thank you for listening to another episode of Easy Speak at Speakeasy 330. You can catch us every week at ilogicmedia.com, Apple, and Spotify. Be sure to check us out on Twitter and Instagram at Easy Speak Cast for the latest and up-to-date news. Cheers.